Hello, welcome again to the Cadence live stream, where today we're going to be building a loop inside Cadence in the new sandbox tools that we're busy adding on our way to Steam Early Access. So what I want to just start off with today is showing you what we've been working on today. Hello, welcome again to the Cadence live stream, where today we're going to be building
a bit of a sound
loop
error there
inside Cadence in the new sandbox tools that we're busy adding on our way to Steam Early Access. So what I want to just start off with today is showing you what happens when you don't mute the volume in Twitch. Bit new to this, still learning as we go along. Let's get my window back. Here we go. So one of the things I want to show you is kind of what we've been doing every day, and I think that's we're going to be making a lot of changes in the next few weeks, and it'd be cool to see how the capabilities in Cadence are actually evolving. So one of the big things in Cadence has always been that the music has been this sort of very odd construct. Cadence is not like any other sequencer. And in a lot of ways, that's really cool because interesting things happen, but it can be a bit constrictive if you want to make something a bit more traditional. So what we're working on now is actually a grid-based editor. And the idea with this is it's still going to be a bit funky, a bit different to sort of step sequences or grid editors you might see in other interfaces, but it will allow you to sort of get an overview and start doing something a bit more similar to what you'd find in traditional music. And I think I'm really, really excited because I think once this is in the game, it's just going to blow everything completely wide open. So what you can see down here right now, these are all just graphical assets. There's no functionality there yet, but the idea is that you'll be able to come in, you'll be able to see all your nodes at one time, and you'll be able to click on buttons, and that will, there'll be a very quick way of assigning tones and assigning, sounds to your circuits. And right now you see a lot of different grids sliced up in a lot of different ways. Here it's 4 beats, and here it's a single beat, and here it's 2 beats. And that's basically going to depend on the setting you see here, where you can set your division for the grid. So, yesterday, if you watched yesterday, you could see struggling a little bit to try and get interesting timing happening. Now with this new editor, that's going to be really, really easy. Anyway, none of this works yet. Just give you a preview of what we've been working on. So I'm going to close this for now, and I'm just going to... Oh, turned off the wrong thing there, sorry. I'm just going to go back to the game itself. This is just a build we exported a few days ago, and I'm going to use this to make a loop a day. All right, don't really have any plan for today, so I'm just going to maybe try and make something with drums. I've been enjoying playing with the new nodes, seeing what's possible there. So yesterday I kind of used these 2 nodes. These are 2 reflectors, and basically it's quite straightforward. They just send pulses back and forth between each other. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign some sounds to them. Nice kick snare. There we go. Very simple, very straightforward, very vanilla. But now, as a case in point of what was difficult with Cadence is these are playing individual notes, but often with drums you have hi-hats in between every kick and snare in a very typical drum beat. So what we'd have, right now there's no way for us to add that hi-hat. So what we'd have to do is we'd have to come in here, select a relay node that just sends pulses onwards, and let's assign the sound. Now what you'll get is you'll get the hi-hat in between the kick and snare. But of course, in a drum beat, the hi-hat's actually playing on both beats, so we can do that a couple of ways. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to come here, and now we should get the hi-hat on every beat. Alright, that's pretty cool. Let's amp that up a bit. Very, very simple vanilla rock groove. Now, if I wanted to, let's maybe sort of make this a bit more electro. Let's come select this node, turn it into an open hi-hat. you know, very typical vanilla sort of club beat there. Personally, I'm not too much of a fan of that, so I like to stick to the rock kind of thing, if you know what I mean. Alright, so that's pretty cool, but you know, generally in rock and roll, you kind of want a double kick drum, sort of every second time. Let's see if we can figure out how to add that. So for this again, I'm going to use a state node, which beats every second time. And to get pulses there, I'm going to change this reflector to a sort of upgraded one, and that's basically a combination of a reflector and a relay, so it will both bounce pulses and send them onwards. Let's see what happens. Well, before we do that, let's just assign a sound here so it's already selected. Give that a kick drum. Really wanted to up the pace a bit. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. All right, let's try maybe add just a sort of driving bass line to that. Once again, gonna come in here, gonna create a second track, and I'm gonna choose the synthesizer. So there's two instruments, the synthesizer and the drum beat. And all right now it's still a bit broken, so we just have to create a node. Now we have a starting point. And for this, you know, we've got a very typical drum beat going there, so I'm just gonna do something, you know, like eighth notes, a driving bass line. That's something you'd see very commonly in rock and roll. And for that, I'm gonna use the generator node, which is not that one. There we go. So now what's gonna happen is that this is gonna pulse on every single beat. That doesn't sound very great, but let's come in here. Let's pick a slightly more badass sound, maybe something like this. Right, very high pitched, very nasal. Don't like that too much, so I'm actually gonna come in here and just turn the sound down a bit. All right, that's a bit sort of obnoxious. Let's see what other sounds we can pick here. So you can see there right now, it's, you know, if you're changing the notes manually, you can kind of get this nice moving bass line going. Right now, there's no way to do that in Cadence, but that's something we'll be looking at trying to add as we go on into the future. So for now, I'm just going to leave it at a sort of couple of bars repeating on the root note. And that's today's loop a day. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers. See you again tomorrow at 8 o'clock.